Page 12, Love Somebody, Yes I Do. On this lesson, they're introducing eighth notes. It's just another type of note we have to deal with. I think I briefly mentioned them before. Remember, we've had whole notes, a circle. If you cut a whole in half, you get two half. So there's two half notes to a whole note. A half note is a circle with a stem. Remember that? I trust you know all this. If you cut a half in half, half and half, you get a quarter or 1/4. That's a quarter note. That's a solid circle with a stem. There's 4 quarter notes to a whole note, or 2 quarter notes to a half note. Well, if I cut a quarter in half, I get an eighth. So there's 2 eighth notes to a quarter note. And an eighth note can look a couple different ways, and they show them at the top. If they're by themselves, they have that little flag. Oh, that's an eighth note. If you have more than one eighth note together, one after another, they beam them together, and that's that solid beam. So they show 4 eighth notes beamed. They're beamed in groups of 2. They can be beamed most any way. Usually it's done by the beat or the feel of the beat, so because it makes it easier to read the music. And since a quarter note gets a beat a lot of times, and there's 2 eighth notes in a quarter note, it makes sense to beam 2 eighth notes together, because that's like one beat. Most of the time, not always. And that's what they've done here in Yes I Do thingy, is you see the eighth notes, but they're all beamed in pairs. Well, that's according to the beat. Now, there's different ways of counting these. Different teachers teach different methods. I use the same method this book is using, and I put an and in between the number. So this is in 2/4 time, so let's use that. The bottom number is a 4, and that's what I'm after here. The bottom number is a 4. The top number can be anything, I don't care. But we're counting quarter notes. Therefore, a quarter note gets the count. 1, 2, 1, 2. Those are quarter notes. 2. It's on the beat. It gets a count. Well, the eighth notes, I'll put an and in between the number. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and that's the speed of the eighth notes. They go twice as fast. Now again, when you're first learning a piece, you might have to count the rhythm carefully to make sure you get it correct. But once you have the rhythm and you know what it is, you don't count it anymore, you just feel it. And you know there's 2 eighth notes in that beat. You can feel that 1 and 2 and beat. So let's look this over here and see what we got. It's 2 lines long, treble and bass clef, 2/4 time signature, where you have eighth notes and quarter notes and half notes. Okay. Now the hands are playing together, so I'm going to take one hand at a time and make sure I understand what each hand is doing before I try and put them together. Right hand, you're starting here. And we're not moving around here, so really that first finger number is the only finger number you need. You don't need any of these other finger numbers in the right hand. I would prefer you just cross them out. Don't read finger numbers, read the notes. You got to remember which keys your fingers are on. So it's 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 2 and. Get the idea? That's really all it is. Left hand, we're starting 3 here, and then put your hand here. And again, you're not moving around, so you don't need any of these other finger numbers. Read the notes. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1. And you get the idea of how this works? It's really not complicated, just until you put the hands together, and then things get, ugh. So here, together, we're pushing down here. Now, when I first put the hands together, a lot of times I'm hesitating all over. I don't care. I want to know which fingers are working together. So here, it's here. And I'm going to hold the left hand down as I do that, and then it's here, here, and here, and here. That's not so bad. And then here, these together. So I go through the whole piece and I work that out. And then I go back over any hard parts and work those out. And then I go back through it all and get rid of the hesitations. So it is a steady beat. You can go as slow as you got to go. It doesn't matter, but no hesitations. Once I have that, then I add the articulation or the expression. Here they have slurs or phrases. Lift up. Lift up. It's like every 2 measures they're lifting up. And the left hand, just connect it. Well, that's a challenge. Can you lift up in one hand and connect the other? So you're starting here, but now here, I'm going to lift up here, but keep that down. So I'm going to connect that. So I'm lifting up the right hand, but I'm connecting the left. This prepares us for harder music we're coming into later on, so if you can get this, it's better. Once I have that, then I think about the dynamics. We have mezzo forte at the beginning. That's moderately loud. You'll have to decide what moderately loud is. It's not loud, just sort of loud. Huh? And that's the melody. This other part is background. Keep it in the background. Soft. So I'm sort of heavy, yeah. And then I'm light here. And so I'm heavy and light at the same time. And then in the third measure, now P for piano is soft. That's the melody. So it goes light. And the left hand goes super light, really light. So how light can you play that? Moderately loud again, and then end it soft. So you're going back and forth between the moderately loud and light, or soft. And I say moderately heavy or light because, again, I'm using gravity to push the notes down, and it's how much weight I'm putting on the key as to how loud it's going to be in this case. Now, speed, moderato, well, I didn't say a lot, it's somewhere in the middle. If you were going to sing it, how would you, how fast? See, eighth notes tend to slow things down a little bit. The more notes you have between the beats, the slower you tend to go. Yeah, they can go fast, but the tendency is they're going to want to slow it down. So you don't want to slow it down too much because you don't want the beat to drag. So it's just about there. 1, 2, 1. That's pretty slow. But it's not the speed of the beat we're talking about as far as speed goes. It's the overall feel of the piece. See, if I do the speed of the beat of moderato about a 1, 2, 1, 2, not gentle, that makes the eighth notes go. That's way too fast. So we're not talking about the speed of the beat. We're talking about the overall feel and flow of the piece. Don't copy me, please. You get into it. You feel it. If you want to sing it, go ahead and sing it. I ain't singing it, but you can sing it if you want. Let's play it together very slowly and check the notes and the rhythms. I'm not going to do the louds and softs and stuff. I'm going to play everything about the same because all we're doing is checking notes and rhythms, not performing it here. So I'll give us 2 counts because it's in 2/4 time. So that's ready and go and, because those are eighth note. Ready and go and. And let's try it together slowly. Now, because we're doing eighth notes and I want to keep it really, really slow, I put the metronome on eighth notes. So it's beating eighth notes here. 1 and 2 and. So that's how fast the eighth notes are going to go. Ready and go and.